We took the ultimate Game of Thrones studio tour at Linen Mills Studios, located just 40 minutes outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on that bell so you get notifications because we put up new travel videos each week.
We are so excited because we are here at Linen Mills Studios. And what are we about to do?
We're going to do the Game of Thrones studio tour. This was where the original series was filmed, and we had the chance to walk through the actual sets from the Seven Kingdoms.
Look at this. This is the studio where Game of Thrones was filmed. It's legendary, people. Legendary!
Northern Ireland was the main filming location for Game of Thrones, and as fans of the series, we loved our first visit to Castle Ward. Located just 45 minutes from the studio, it's a great complement to Linen Mills. It was there that we donned our fur cloaks and immersed in medieval activities on the set of Winterfell and strolled through its grounds, revisiting some 20 different key moments from our favorite TV series. The studio tour at Linen Mills is the ultimate experience to add to all your Game of Thrones locations that you'll find throughout Northern Ireland. What an experience!
We are at Linen Mills Studios here just outside of Belfast, and I'm so excited because we're doing the Game of Thrones studio tour. Look at, I've got some wildlings behind me. The tour begins after an introduction to the experience on the big screen. Once it finishes, the walls open up, transporting you to winter in Westeros. We start beyond the wall, surrounded by White Walkers, giants, and wildlings. This is so exciting. I have the Night King behind me. At the studio tour here, these are the actual sets, actual costumes, and this is where Game of Thrones was filmed. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you have to come here. I want to watch it again now.
The studio tour not only takes you through iconic sets, but you also learn about the behind-the-scenes staff and crew that brought the series to life.
Having worked in the film industry in the past, this is really exciting to see that they have displayed all of the departments. We're in the art department right now to see the set designs and everything that they went through as they designed each of the sets for Game of Thrones.
See how design concepts were created and brought to fruition to create those jaw-dropping final cuts. You'll see sketches from the production design team, models of the Seven Kingdoms, and you'll immerse yourself in special effects to see how it all came to life. It's also very interactive here. You can design your own sigil. So let's see what mine will be. That's me. Honorable, cunning, and courageous.
This is so awesome. Castle Black was filmed right here on this set outside of Belfast in Northern Ireland. And I'm standing, oh my goodness, I think Jon Snow must have walked on these boards and ate at that table. So wild.
We're inside the Crypts of Winterfell. And what's really cool is this is the studio. This is the real stuff, people. As you walk through the actual sets used on the Game of Thrones, you'll recognize recreations of iconic scenes, such as when Jon Snow was raised from the dead at Castle Black by Melisandre. You'll also see interior scenes from Winterfell and King's Landing, and have a chance to stand in the Great Hall of Winterfell, where Jon Snow was declared the King of the North.
We are on the actual film set right here. This is where Littlefinger bit the dust at the hands of Arya, right?
Indeed he did.
And Eric's one of the tour guides, and he was in Game of Thrones. How many seasons?
I was on it for 4 seasons.
4 seasons, 5 years. And when you started, you had no idea what you were getting yourself into.
I had no idea what the show was at all. I knew nothing about Game of Thrones.
That is so cool. You come for one day and you end up 5 years later, and now you're working here telling everyone your stories.
The greatest show on earth.
It is, and it's so much fun to talk to people who actually experience it. This is so awesome. We are in the Hall of Faces. This was always so eerie to me. And then here we are, right in the studio where it was filmed. Ah! It was one iconic set after another, and the Hall of Faces was definitely one of the creepiest. We were added to the Wall of the Dead and were surprised just how much of the set was created instead of using CGI.
I've been added to the Hall of Faces.
The studio tour is very interactive, showcasing everything from costume design to special effects. You can build your own character and learn how motion capture works to create those incredible giants and creatures. Oh, look it. That's me. There is so much to see, we suggest at least 3 hours to explore each exhibit. We kept turning corners to find more scenes and memories from the show. What we loved is that it also credited every department that made this show so successful, with the Armoury being one of the best. There were many battles in Game of Thrones, and we saw everything from the hundreds of spears handed out to extras to the more memorable weapons like Jon Snow's Longclaw, Ned Stark's Valyrian steel sword, and Tyrion's crossbow. We even got to try our hand at killing some White Walkers.
Got it. I win. I killed a lot of White Walkers. I win. Wow, this is such a beautiful Game of Thrones experience. You gotta do it, especially if you're a fan, and even if you're not.
Oh my god, it is so cool to be here. Iron Throne is right behind me. I never thought I'd see this in my life. It's the Game of Thrones and we're ending with the throne. It is the coolest thing to be on this set and see this Throne of Swords. I'm at the Game of Thrones tour at the studio where the Game of Thrones was filmed, and right behind me is the Iron Throne. It's amazing. The tour ends at the ruined throne room of the Great Hall of King's Landing, but never fear, you have another chance to see the Iron Throne in person. Okay, what Game of Thrones fan has not dreamed of sitting on the Iron Throne? And I'm gonna do it right now. It feels so powerful.
There are so many sets on display on this Game of Thrones tour, it will transport you right back to Westeros. We had 3 hours at the studios, but suggest taking as long as you like, as there are so many details that you will not want to miss. Make sure to talk to the guides, as many of them had recurring parts in the series, and will share some insider stories with you. They will also point out all the little details you may have missed. So if you're traveling to Northern Ireland or Ireland, we highly recommend stopping at Linen Mills Studios to check out the sets of one of the world's most successful TV series. If you enjoyed this tour, make sure to subscribe to our channel because we put up new travel videos each week. And don't forget to click on that bell for a notification so you don't miss a thing. Winter is coming.